Hi, everyone. And if you're like us, you probably had enough turkey. Well, at least if you're in the U.S., I think it's a U.S. thing. You probably had enough turkey yesterday for Thanksgiving, since it's the day after. Traditional Black Friday, which nowadays has been morphed into the whole month of November pretty much, and December. So, and it's the way it goes.
Well, someone had to start. It's like everybody's just like, well, I can do it earlier than this. And then everybody's just like, yeah, we'll just do it all month.
Yeah, they went from like people trampling each other to get in the door at 4 a.m. at a store to this, which I guess is probably better.
Probably.
Yeah.
I kind of like the trampling thing, though.
Yeah.
Because they had some real blockbusters. They had some deals that were like, wow, that's a deal.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to be there 3 days in advance to get that deal.
And they only have 6 of these.
Yeah. It spread out through 6 stores.
Yeah, right.
It kind of faded away.
But yeah.
Now they got like decent deals, but usually not like wow deals.
Yeah, remember all those people would be standing in line like wrapped around Target because they'd be like,
get like the
away.
$80 laptop back when they were $500.
Yeah, the flat screen.
But now they don't even hide it. Like in Best Buy, they have just pallets of TVs out a week in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there the other day in the mall at Best Buy, and just stacked full of nothing I really want, though. They were like Samsung, Insignias. It's like, all right. You know.
Well, they usually don't have the sales on the flagship models.
Yeah, you don't see the top of the line Sony's going for anything.
Not pallets of those, no.
That's too bad. But again, that's not what the general masses want. They want big and cheap, right? I can get an 80-incher for $6.95.
Yeah, I think we have a video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to do a video.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, talk about turkey.
Turkey.
I had enough friggin' turkey. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna have enough turkey, but you're gonna have enough turkey.
Future you is gonna be stuffed.
Yeah. I already know that.
It seems plausible.
Yeah. You're cooking a turkey this year for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's gonna be smoked.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I did a test one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just had it today. It's pretty good, by the way. I didn't tell you. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the second version of the V2 smoked turkey.
Yeah. There
in a few days.
I'm gonna make a few changes.
Yeah. It's pretty good though. I've never had. See, now that makes me like turkey because I'm not a big turkey fan.
Yeah, me neither.
I get sick of chicken too after a few times because it's kind of like blah, right? You got to put some hot sauce on it, something, But the smoked turkey's got to smoke. That's some smoky goodness.
Well, and it was a 48-hour brine too.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, all in all, it makes sense why it's so flavored, where I can handle that. And that's something we want to talk about today. Is our topic of discussion was going to be about, why is it that you think about it in audio and in other hobbies and even anything, eating, if you have the same thing over and over again, you kind of get sick of it over time, And someone brought up the fact that, it's funny that in high-end audio, like the good stuff, people tend not to get sick of it. They tend to keep their systems for years. And why is that? I mean, you got the lower end of things, it seems like in audio and anything, coffee, you name it, right? I think you get sick of it if you had it day in, day out, same thing, where some things are not like that.
Well, turkey is a good example of that because you have it like most people like once a year and you just bake it and it's dry and you're like, I don't like turkey, and then you don't have turkey for the rest of the year until next Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, some people like turkey.
Yeah. Maybe like a cold cut,
Yeah, gravy saves the turkey, really.
Gravy, yeah.
And it all depends on how good the gravy is at that point.
Yeah.
I think audio is a pretty good example, though, because audio is one of the few things that it is possible to enjoy a high-end system for a really long time, and in some cases, possibly your lifetime. It really depends, I guess, on the personality, how long you listen, how often you listen, what your experience level is, those sorts of things, because there's so many things where it's easy to get used to whatever it is. It's easy to get used to exceptional quality or something that's super delicious. And maybe you really don't experience frumpy things too often, so you don't really get to get refreshed and just recognize how great this one thing is. But with audio, it's kind of something that it's hard to avoid the bad. You hear bad audio for the most part all the time. It's really hard to avoid in everyday life.
Elevators.
Yeah, there's so many instances where you hear audio and it's just like, wow, that's terrible.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Especially you go to a live event. Sometimes they sound okay, but most of the time they're bad.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
And that's not to say that the music's bad or the event's bad or it's bad to go to a live show. It's just typically the audio really isn't done that well, and it helps remind you just how exceptional your home system can be. And I think that kind of refresher really helps keep things lively. really helps keeps it exciting that you have this super high-end system. But I suppose that's also kind of why the mid-range can be so problematic. Because if you have something that's good,
or the lower end of things.
yeah, well,
know.
the really cheap stuff people usually get sick of right away. It's nice, it's fine for a while, but especially if you get taste of better stuff.
I think if I had the same coffee every day, day in, day out, I'd be sick of it because I got like 6 different beans
I
right
think
now
coffee
at
is
least.
a perfect example. Yeah, I know. I got way too many right now. But yeah,
I
I'm
like
changing it
changing
all
up.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are people that they get Folgers every day and they've had it for 30 years, right?
Yeah. God, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they're just stuck in a rut.
See, I think that's a different thing, though.
I don't know.
That's not necessarily someone that enjoys the coffee. They
That's
just
true.
are looking for the
Caffeine.
the caffeine
Yeah.
or whatever the coffee
I
gives them, right?
suppose.
They're just looking for a drink that
It's
gets
a
them going.
means to an end.
It's not like the coffee itself.
But the
is important
monotony
to
of
them.
it all.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, I worked at a place for years, way back in the day when I was young, and we had basically the same coffee every day. And that's true. I didn't think nothing of it. It was there. We had a bun maker in the place. We had like 20 people there, right? All sipping from the same slurry. And, they're just constantly just dumping grounds and making coffee all freaking day, basically. And I guess you don't think much of it. You put the powdered creamer in there.
Yeah, but I guess that's the thing because
Call it a day.
you're kind of in your own world, like with your audio system, just like with coffee. If you make coffee every morning, you're not like out usually trying you're not stopping at like McDonald's and getting coffee
you
there.
really wouldn't try a lot of other
You're
coffee.
just in your own bubble.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah, other than occasional Starbucks, I do like some of the local coffee shops, but yeah.
it's all over the place. I've had too.
But for that most part, yeah, I'm usually drinking my own brew. So
A lot of people do that, right? You have your own coffee all the time, and so usually you had enough. By the time you go somewhere else, if someone asks if you want coffee, either you're not interested or you don't really need as much as you normally would. You don't really get as good of a sense.
Well, that's probably the same with audio because in the higher end of things, people are changing out gear, trying different cables and power cords. They're always tweaking their system. So it's never necessarily a static system.
Well, not everyone. Some people like to just set it and forget it though too.
Well, most people I
put
talk
this
to-
together, got all the pieces I wanted, and then
Yeah.
leave it for 20 years.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Well, most people I talk to, it seems like maybe because we
everybody's
sell
got
cables.
the itch. Yeah, to
Right.
can I make it better? That's the thing.
Like speakers, I could see keeping a long time. Like I rarely change speakers. Same with electronics. Once you find something that clicks with the speaker, okay, that's done.
Yeah.
But source gear, I mean, that's
Well-
been changing since the 80s,
Especially in the high end, though, price is definitely a factor here because,
Yeah.
I've had the same speakers for 20 years,
Yeah.
and would I like better speakers? Yeah, but they're expensive.
Yeah. And not only that, once you get the new speaker, then you got to work
Yeah.
around and tweak around that. It's never going to be, it's not going to fit the same old shoe.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that's probably part of the high-end audio thing is that there are small variables. There are variables within the system that you could change, call them tweaks, that don't necessarily mean you just throw the whole damn thing out and start from scratch.
Yeah.
Where a lot of hobbies, maybe that wouldn't be the case. I don't know.
For me, I'm the type of person that typically puts a fair amount of consideration into a purchase of any kind, really. And so, especially in the high end where you typically have considerably higher barriers to entry, you usually have a higher price. For me, at least, it's not the thing that I just buy 5 of and see which one sticks. So it makes it harder, I suppose, to really see a different or a new product as something that's enticing. Whereas in the low range, the mid range, where it's much cheaper, it's much more likely to be an impulse buy. It's much more likely to be like, well, I don't really like my system anyways. I'll try this. In the high end, it's kind of like, well, my system's pretty good. Maybe this is better, but is it better enough? And I think there's a bit of that to a lot of people because usually your system's more considered in the high end, and it's so much more expensive typically that you're less reluctant. So you do find in high-end audio, a lot of people have the same system or at least a similar enough system. Some of the core components are more or less constant for a long period of time, relatively speaking.
Well, I think that's the thing. Due to the high costs in the high end, people take longer to consider what they want to get. Like you go hear those same speakers. You're going to spend $200,000 on them. You'll hear them multiple times. You won't just like sit down and impulse buy some Grand Utopias, right?
Well, the people that would impulse buy something like that are the people that don't really care what it sounds like because they're looking at them. They're not listening to them.
Furniture.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there are people like that, absolutely.
Yeah.
But usually the sound isn't that important. It's not the primary driving characteristic. So they're usually not going to be that excited to replace them in the future because it's serving their function, right?
But in general, I guess bottom line is we're all, as humans, we all get bored with stuff. And, I guess if you break it down in its simplest form, the more boring something is, the more easier it is to get bored with it.
Well,
And that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
In a nutshell, and vice versa. If something's more exciting to you, even over the long term,
well,
you won't get bored with it as easily.
I guess the question is, are you bored with your speakers?
No, not really.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
in fact, I had moved away from them and went to Magicos for a while and then went back and said, wow, I still like these more than what I thought I liked better. So, sometimes that's a litmus test, actually. Go
True.
back. A lot of stuff will fail. I'm going back to, this is
Yeah.
worse than I thought.
Right.
But there are times where it's like, well, now I see, you go around in a full circle over, it could take 20 years. And I've seen this a lot where you come full circle and you go, I'm right back where I started from. I know it was like that when I used to appreciate mid-range and like speakers. Like I always like the people say, oh, we're Bowers and Wilkins fans. They don't realize we're talking about the speakers, not the headphones.
Oh,
yeah, right.
And we mentioned that in the comedy. Oh, you guys are, well, it's not the headphones, it's mainly speakers because we've owned their speakers over the years. But I remember having an old pair of like B&Ws, probably from the 80s, and they had that Kevlar mid-range. And I always loved the way vocals sounded through it.
801 Matrix?
Yeah, well, something like in the Matrix series. And then you go, and over the years, you've owned like 3 or 4 different speakers, and it seems like you're always seeking out the same mids, but it doesn't exist.
Right.
It's not there. And then you go back to the old speaker, you find a speaker that has like, shit, there it is again. It's the same damn old speaker. That's what I was looking for. And it could be 15, 20, 30 years later.
Well,
it's funny how that works.
Their new mids aren't the same as their old.
No. Oh, and by all means, technically, the speakers are far more advanced than the stuff
Well,
in the
yeah.
80s all around. But if you're looking at only one thing, one
Yep.
component, it's funny that sometimes that you lose track of that. And then there it is again in a more modern device, along with hopefully many other positive aspects that have been improved. But, that's the problem with modernization is like some people, I think, stay with the old. They still
Yep.
run their 80s or 1980s vintage speakers because they haven't found anything else that touches them in that one area. And that's what they key in on. So it kind of makes sense. It depends what you're after,
Yeah, I mean, I could say I'm bored with my speakers, have been for a long time, but every once in a while they'll do a thing. It's like, you don't hear that very
Right.
often.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They are from like 1984.
And when you
so-
take that away, you do miss it.
probably,
You
yeah.
know, it'd be like taking away our coffee grinder and giving us chock full of nuts to
Yeah.
make of it. Like, wait a minute. Well, there you'd miss everything.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
It's a whole different ballgame. But yeah,
For me, it's all about the delta in an absolute sense. So if you look at like a headphone system, if you buy into a system that has comparatively more delta than you need, it sounds better relative to the other systems you're familiar with than really you would be willing to pay for, which I guess that's a weird explanation. But if it's like really great out of the gate, right? Down the road, maybe relatively it'll fade. Maybe there'll be products that come out that are competitive or excel a little bit in certain regions, but it's still, compared to the rest of the pack, it's still quite good.
Yeah.
So it still retains relevance for a long period of time.
well, that's true. If you buy,
Right.
you know, the top of the heap at the time, I've always found that to have longevity.
Usually.
Yeah, the best flat screen TVs.
Right. Yeah.
You buy
TVs. Yeah. You don't buy them every year.
top of the line Sony, you're probably good for 3 years or so
That's the thing.
before you get bored with it.
That's a good example because
You
I
know?
just was thinking my TV's like 4 years old now, and there's nothing really to replace it.
Yeah, because
still.
you look at them,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I don't see anything
the
different.
new
that I
ones are
ever
a
see.
little brighter, but
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, especially with TVs, especially if they change the tech, it
Yeah.
takes, like when they went to OLED. Well, it takes a couple years to refine that. You
Yeah.
know, it's not perfect out the gate. LED was the same way, and everything before that. You know, so yeah, when it comes to the senses like that, you know, I think it would take quite a leap to
Yeah.
overwhelm your eyesight
Yeah.
in terms of what comes off of a flat screen. You know, before you say, okay, I'm going to drop another $5,000 on a screen.
Computers are a great example of this too. Because so commonly, if you buy into something that's a little bit more horsepower than you need, you sprung for the 1080 Ti instead of the 1080, well, it's still relevant today, oddly enough. Although the new stuff is better. It's absolutely better.
Right.
But if the availability isn't so great, if the price is a little bit more than you want to spend, if your hardware's still serving the purpose, well, what's the point of upgrading, right? It's still doing what you need. But if you bought something that's marginal in 2, 3, 4 years, you're going to be itching. It's maybe even sooner than that. Some people, they get the itch way faster. And so that's the trouble. I see value in high-end products because I find I tend to keep them longer. I tend to be happy with them longer. And to me, that seems to make more sense because I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to think about it as much. It's less effort spent dealing with it because it serves its function longer.
I just ran into this last night. I'm doing a little bit of a remodel in part of the kitchen, and some of it I'm managing to do myself because it's easier than getting some guy contractor to spend 3 days in my kitchen. I got to watch him. So, and you watch him do the work while I still got to be there. I might as well do it myself. So anyway, bottom line is I had to cut some holes in this for outlets in this concrete board, right?
Yeah.
And I found out that you couldn't do that with a spinny drill bit because it just overheats and the bit just popped right off the thing like instantly.
Well, a hole saw?
Yeah, the
Rotozip?
Yeah, the rotozip. It absolutely can't work on concrete board.
The surface footage
It was
is a little high
instant. The
on
blade
those.
just flew, and I'm like, oh man, the bit. So I'm like, so I popped on YouTube. How do you cut this? It turns out you got to drill holes in it with a concrete drill, and then take a jigsaw on slow speed and use a jigsaw.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I used to have a jigsaw. I think I threw it in the garbage because it sucks, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. They suck. I always buy cheap jigsaws because you only use them like once.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And I always buy. So yesterday I'm at Lowe's, and I'm like, they got like, there's not a ton of jigsaws, but there's choice.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, okay, I could buy the $40 one. I'm just going to cut a couple things. I don't need anything exciting. But I've always bought these $40 ones, and you got to tighten the screw, the foot blade. Now, fortunately, they all have these quick releases, which are amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, this time, I'm going to get a name brand jigsaw. I'm going to spend twice as much. I'm going to spend a whopping $100 on a jigsaw. And maybe I actually won't mind using it when I need to use it because they always sucked for me. I always had the screw type. So anyway, I bought a nicer one, whatever it was, a DeWalt or something like that. Yeah, a plug-in, not battery, because battery gets you in a triple-digit, double-digit range real quick. Anyway, I take it home. You flick a lever, you pop the blade in, and bam, it's ready to go. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful right there, just from the get-go. And so, to me, it pays to have that type of convenience where if you need, even if you don't use it that often, even if you're going to use it, at least the damn thing works. And, you don't have to mess with it for whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Some people like that
too.
messing with things, though. So
Well,
for some
yeah,
people,
Yeah. Well, but not a jigsaw.
Yeah, probably not
You
a
just
jigsaw.
want to plug it in and cut something.
You want the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tool. You know, it's like having to make a screwdriver work before you use it. It would be like, huh? Who would use a screwdriver? So,
Well, some of you do. Replaceable bits. And
well,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Well, that's a multi-purpose.
Right.
I used to have the ones with the ratcheting ball.
Wait until the LTTstore.com screwdriver comes out.
Yeah.
They're coming out with a screwdriver?
LTT store?
Allegedly.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Wow. Is it going to be made by Snap-on?
I don't know who's
That's
making
where
it,
you gotta
but
get a
apparently they're
ratcheting
designing
screwdriver
That's what Linus currently uses. Well, he has a Williams, too, which is owned by
Similar?
Snap-on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he has the same screwdriver. That's my favorite one. That green one.
Yeah, that's a Snap-on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of those
He has
too.
an orange one of those.
Oh.
He thinks it's great. I think it
I
broke
do
or
too.
lost or something. I forgot what happened.
It's
I don't
such
know,
a
sort of thing.
smooth
Yeah,
ratcheting
very nice.
action.
Good mechanism.
Probably
yeah.
like, I don't know what it costs now. They're
They're
worth
like,
$60.
No, they're probably like 100 now.
Yeah, right.
They're pretty expensive.
Yeah, but that's one of those things you'll have forever. It sits in my toolbox. It's got bits, G2G.
I had one sitting in my cart at Amazon for like 3 years now. I just can't buy one. Too expensive.
They are expensive. And you
But
know the
I
other
want
problem
one.
with that is, too? You'll probably lose it before it fails.
Well,
And you can't hit it with a hammer.
you can, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want to.
You wouldn't want to. It's
Yeah.
a really nice screwdriver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the Craftsman for that.
No, I do have a screwdriver specifically made for hitting with hammers.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, it's already beat the shit, so.
Well, no, they're actually in perfect condition. I've only hit one. It was skin. I didn't really want to, but I'm like, you gotta hit it. It's wood.
We are really rambling at this point.
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know where we're going.
We've
with
gone
this one.
way where you just keep going, which is, we could do this all day.
Yeah,
really.
well,
I don't know
yeah.
who the hell would be watching.
Some people like that.
Some people like that.
Yeah.
It's more of a time problem.
Yeah.
Kind of need to.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're just cruising along in your car listening to us. You
Yeah.
get away with this kind of stuff.
Mm.
Anyway, we should probably get back to our Black Friday shopping because
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Buying cheap
Go right.
vacuum cleaners.
yeah,
and
or a
stuff.
new blender.
New blender.
blender,
Yeah.
I wonder if Blendtec has any Black Friday deals.
Some new deals.
I do need a cheap vacuum cleaner. I meant to get one last year, but nobody had it on sale.
I don't think cheap vacuum cleaners
Specifically a
work.
cheap one.
Yeah, I want like a $40 shop vac.
No, you
Oh,
need like a
for, like,
$400
sucking up
Dyson. You know that was
nails.
$700. That's what you're looking for.
No, what I need this
Oh, to clean up a
specifically
mess.
for is very messy things.
Yeah.
I also need a, what do they call those ones that are made to handle dust?
Oh,
I need one of those too.
Yeah.
like we got here?
Yeah. There's not a vacuum. They call them something.
It's not a vacuum.
No,
Well, they
have
are a
it.
vacuum, but they don't call them
Negative
vacuums.
atmosphere container.
Yeah.
It's
The
like
ones
a
for doing the
extractor or something.
Yeah, something like
Dust
that. Yeah.
extractor.
Those are not cheap.
No.
Yeah, I want one of those, but it's too expensive.
I almost bought one of those too. Had it on a cart, and then it's like, nope.
You ever try vacuuming up drywall compound? It's
Yes,
really cloggy
That
stuff.
sucks.
it clogs it
Yeah.
up immediately.
They make special vacuums for that, but no matter what, you're going to plug it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
have
need the one with the thumper.
It's got a thump.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we
dual
got 'em here.
filters, the
yeah.
bag.
It's just automatically whacking it against a tree for you.
Yeah, otherwise you got to go out back, hit it on a tree. It's a whole thing.
I got a better idea. Hire a guy that does drywall and let him bring his vacuum cleaner.
Mm.
Yeah, that works out really
Yeah,
well.
they have real vacuum
They got them,
cleaners.
yeah. And then let them deal with replacing those
Yeah.
$100 filters.
They go hit it on a tree for you.
Yeah.
Well, they got the
exactly.
thumper.
Yeah.
The thumper, yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Holidays are quickly approaching, so don't
Mm.
forget to go to abyssstore.com and buy your loved ones some mugs and hats and whatever the hell else we got. I don't think
Yeah,
have
we don't have
hats,
that seasonal merch yet
but-
that we promised.
Yeah. Abyssstore.com. And or just better yet, just go to Abyss itself, the website, and get some headphones for
Yeah, that's a
everybody.
good
Oh.
idea.
Yeah. We'll
You
set
got a
you
new
up with the
model.
good stuff.
Hmm.
That's all we sell.
Hmm.
Take care of everyone.